How's it, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Game Nights. On this one, we have a guest who's never been on the show before.
Hey everybody, my name's Crim. You might know me as the Asian Avenger. I stream on Twitch Monday through Thursday. I do a ton of things for MTG Goldfish. I'm on their podcast, and we have a Commander gameplay series called Commander Clash. And I'm super excited to be here for my first ever episode of Game Nights.
And we have a returning fan favorite and somebody who's currently undefeated on the show.
Hey everyone, it's Ashlen. You may recognize me from my Magic the Gathering cosplays, or my D&D shows, The Broken Pact RPG and Dark Lanterns, or Game Nights, where I'm back to defend my undefeated record.
So on this episode, we're gonna be playing Commander with the new cards from Theros Beyond Death.
Theros is a set that's inspired by Greek mythology. It's all about the gods and the titans doing battle, and it's a great backdrop to a game of Magic.
So the deck I built is Thassa Deep Dwelling. The deck is centered around wizards. I'm gonna use Thassa's ability to take advantage of all the enter the battlefield effects. Plus, wizards are tricky, so I'm gonna be tapping down things, redirecting things, and bouncing a ton of stuff just to keep all my opponents off balance.
The deck I'm gonna be playing is Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath. So I built this deck mainly around Uro's second ability. I'm gonna take advantage of that extra land drop and get a bunch of landfall triggers. But I do have some tricky stuff that'll hopefully allow me to get around that self-sacrifice and take advantage of that escape mechanic and grind my opponents down by playing my commander over and over that way without paying commander tax.
The deck I brought is Klothys, God of Destiny. This deck is all about ramping into big creatures, which ramps me into more mana, which ramps me into really big X spells, so that I can eventually burn my opponents out.
The deck I brewed today is Dalakos, Crafter of Wonders. This deck is all about artifacts, and specifically equipment. I built this deck with a token theme in mind. So I'm gonna make a lot of creatures, suit them up with awesome equipment, and knock my opponents out with flying and haste.
All right, let's go sling some spells.
All right, let's do this.
All right, let's play.
All right, let's battle. Welcome to the table, everybody.
And Crim, it is your first time on the show, so we all know what that means. Ashlen, would you like to do the honors?
Absolutely. I knight thee, Sir Crim. Arise and avenge the fallen.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to Game Nights.
Only one may stand.
Everyone ready to go?
Yep.
Let's do it.
Yep.
All right, I will draw for turn. I will play a mountain.
Nice.
One of the cool ones.
Yeah, Constellation Mountain. And I'll pass turn.
All right, I'll draw for turn. I'll play a snow-covered island, and it'll be my turn.
All right, I will draw for turn, play a forest, and then I will play exploration.
Oh, gosh.
Pretty good.
It's a pretty good turn one play.
And then I will play a forest.
Nice.
Seems good.
This is great. I could not have asked for a better start. I get to play 2 lands every turn. The only problem is I don't have a lot of lands in my hand right now, but hopefully I'll draw into them. Pass the turn.
All right, I will draw for turn, and I will play an Evolving Wilds, and I'll pass the turn.
All right, I will draw for turn. I will play a Great Furnace. I'll tap 2 mana and cast Lightning Greaves.
Okay.
My commander really cares about equipment. And this one is great because it allows me to use his ability right away. And then later in the game, I can slide it onto any creature I want to turn them into a flying threat. And then I will pass turn to you, Crim.
I will draw for turn, and I will play a snow-covered island, and I will pass.
All right, I will untap and draw. I will play a forest, and then I will play Selvala, Heart of the Wilds.
Oh, jeez. Making mana over here.
Yikes. Now this is a powerhouse card, a very strong deck in its own right, and it looks like Ashlen's probably gonna be playing a lot of big monsters, which means she's gonna have a ton of mana. With that exploration, yeah, I'm getting worried already.
And then I'll play a mountain from exploration.
That's a lot of mana next turn, wow.
Yeah.
Pass turn.
All right, on your end step, I'm gonna crack my Evolving Wilds, and I will find a forest, and I will put that into play tapped. And then I will untap and I will draw. Okay, I'm gonna play a command tower.
Nice.
And then I'm going to tap 2 and play Phantasmal Image, copying Selvala.
Really?
Oh no.
So if anybody plays a big creature, they will draw 2 cards now.
That's actually very funny.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't play anything bigger than 2 power. I'm never gonna draw a card off this thing. So 1 Selvala is already bad for me. 2 Selvalas, you can probably figure out what that means for me.
And then I will pass the turn.
I'll untap and draw. I will play an island, and I'll tap 3 mana. I'll cast Dalakos, Crafter of Wonders.
Ooh.
Wow.
Very cool. My commander has a ton of uses. First off, he's ramped for artifacts, and he makes your equipment super powered. So my plan is to put out the best equipment I can and then smack my opponents for a ton of damage. I am going to equip Dalakos with the lightning greaves. I'm gonna go to combat, and Ashlen, I'm gonna smack you with 2 Dalakos damage.
You know what? I'll take it.
Commander damage.
That is commander
it is.
damage.
Pew, pew.
All right, and with that, I will pass the turn to you, Crim.
All right, go to my untap step. I'll draw a card. I will play an Inventor's Fair, and then I'll cast a Trophy Mage. I'm gonna look through my library. I'm gonna grab Urza's Incubator and put that into my hand.
Okay.
All my opponents have been ramping. This card is gonna help me catch up because I'll have a sweet mana reduction on all my wizards. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to wait a turn to cast it because, well, I'm out of mana.
I will untap my Happy Forest Mountains. I'll draw.
She's way too happy over there. She's just so happy.
All right, I'm going to activate Selvala
Okay.
to
Great.
get 2 mana.
Okay.
And then 3, 4, 5. And I'll play a Protein Hydra for 4. And then, because it's 4 power, my Selvala will trigger.
Yep.
And Josh's Selvala will trigger.
So you'll draw 2 cards?
Yes.
This creature is already pretty good by itself, but when you add on 2 Selvala draw triggers and she's gonna ramp off it as well, oh, that's scary.
Good news, I have a awesome Hydra. Bad news, I don't have any more lands in my hands, so that exploration is not doing much. But it's okay, I have Selvala, right? So I should be able to keep up with the mana.
All right, I will untap and draw my card for turn. Okay, I am going to play an island, and then I'm gonna tap 3, and I'm gonna bring out Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath.
Okay then.
Uh-oh.
So my commander is here, and it's a really interesting card because of the escape mechanic. The first time you play it, it's just gonna die, and you're gonna get a little bit of value, which doesn't seem great, but there is some tricky stuff you can do with it, which I'll demonstrate here. So there are 4 triggers, 2 Selvalas, Uro's escape trigger, and the enter the battlefield, put lands into play and draw cards trigger. So
Wow.
the first thing I'm gonna do is draw 2 cards for the Selvalas.
You're welcome.
1, 2. Then I'm gonna have Uro's second ability trigger, so I will gain 3 life going to 43, and I will draw a card, and I will put a land from my hand onto the battlefield. And now the sacrifice trigger's on the stack because I didn't pay the escape cost. And with that on the stack, I'm actually gonna activate my Selvala
Wow.
and add 6 green mana to my mana pool.
Okay.
So Uro will be sacrificed, and I'll put it back in the command zone. So in case you missed it, I just drew 3 cards, put an extra land onto the battlefield, and I still have 6 mana in my mana pool. I wonder what I can do with that. And then with the 6 floating mana, I'll play Rampaging Baloths. And because Uro's now gone, 6 power is the greatest on the board, so I will draw 2 more cards for the Selvalas.
Gross.
He did what? It's turn 3. Maybe Josh having that Selvala is really bad.
This card is particularly scary because it wants lands to enter the battlefield. Well, guess what Josh's commander does? Well, actually, guess what happens every single turn of the game? The value here is insane. This is something that I don't know if my deck can keep up with without a board wipe.
Okay, and then I'm gonna pass the turn, but I have 9 cards in hand, so I have to discard 2. So I'm gonna discard Zendikar's Royal and Evacuation.
All right, I will untap, and I'll draw. I'm gonna start by tapping Dalakos for 2 mana, and then I'll add a red on top of that, and then I'm gonna cast Metalworker.
All right.
This is one of the better cards in my deck, and normally it can tap for so much mana that I can keep up with a card like Selvala, but unfortunately I only have 1 other artifact in my hand, so it's pretty underpowered right now. Okay, I'm gonna slide the Lightning Greaves over to the Metalworker. So now he has haste and flying.
So fast.
Then I'll tap Metalworker, revealing the only artifact in my hand, which is Dowsing Dagger. So I'm gonna get 2 mana, and then I will play Dowsing Dagger with that 2 mana.
Cool.
And when it enters the battlefield, Crim, you can have the 2 plant tokens.
My aggressive game plan is online.
So Jimmy's turn doesn't look quite as impressive as mine, but his commander taps for mana, Metalworker could tap for mana, the Dowsing Dagger almost certainly gonna flip over next turn, that taps for a lot of mana, so he's pretty well set up. He's gonna have some explosive capabilities in the next turn or 2.
At least out of all of this, Jimmy was nice enough to give me 2 plants. I do like plants.
I will then equip the Dowsing Dagger to Dalakos, Crafter of Wonders. Dalakos is now a 4/5.
Okay.
And then I'm going to slide the Lightning Greaves back over to Dalakos.
Oh, interesting.
And then I will play an Is That Boiler Works, bouncing the Great Furnace to my hand. And I will pass turn to you, Crim.
All right. I will untap my lands, and then I will draw for turn. I'll cast my Urza's Incubator, and I'll name wizards.
Yep.
Nice.
And now it's finally time for me to kind of catch up. I can pretty much cast all my wizards for 2 less, and I can finally get back into this game.
And then I'm just going to pass the turn after that.
All right, I will untap, draw. I'll activate Selvala for 4. Then I will play Courser of Klothys.
Sweet.
This card gains me 1 life every time I play a land, and the whole point of my deck is to do damage to everyone, including myself. So if my life total is higher than everyone else's, that's to my advantage. All right, and then I'll reveal the top card of my library. So it goes. God of Rebels.
Scary. It's only a little scary.
And then I will play a land for turn, which will gain me 1 life. I still have 1 mana left over.
Yep.
I'm gonna add 2 mana and play my commander, Klothys, God of Destiny.
Very cool.
And it is a creature right now?
It is a creature.
Wow.
The gods are back on Theros, and this is a really interesting card. Ashlen can either choose to exile cards from graveyards and ramp, or deal damage to every single player. This card has a ton of utility, but I don't really know how I would build this deck. I'm interested to see what Ashlen does. There is one thing that is for certain though. This card says indestructible on it. It's not gonna leave the battlefield anytime soon, and who knows, that damage might add up.
All right, I'm gonna go to combat, and Jimmy, I will swing the Protein Hydra at you.
All right, I have no blocks, so I'll take 4 damage.
I'm feeling pretty good at this part of the game. My deck is doing everything that I want it to. I'm pretty good on mana already. I feel pretty ahead right now. My only worry is Josh over here is also doing pretty well and taking advantage of my deck too. And then I'll pass turn.
I will untap. I will draw. Okay, I'm gonna start by playing a Hinterland Harbor, which will trigger the Rampaging Baloths, and I will make a 4/4 beast. So here we go. Rampaging Baloths already doing its thing. I'm making 4/4s as a reward for just playing lands. And then I will play Crystal Shard.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
This card is a lot better than it looks, because you might think he's gonna be targeting our stuff with it, but no, it's even better when you target your own things. There's gonna be shenanigans afoot.
Okay, then I'm going to activate my Selvala, adding 6 mana to my mana pool, and I will recast Uro for 5. So again, there's 2 triggers. I'll stack them so that I gain 3 life, draw a card, and put a land onto the battlefield first.
Okay.
I will put a Myriad Landscape on the battlefield, which will trigger my Rampaging Baloths, so I'll make a 2nd beast.
Yikes.
And then with the blue floating, I will activate the Crystal Shard, and I will bounce Uro back to my hand.
Oh gosh.
All right.
So the thing is, Uro has 2 separate triggers, so I can let one go off and then bounce it back to my hand before I have to sacrifice it to the escape mechanic. This means I can play it again later for only 3 mana, get the advantages, do it again. And the best part of all of this is that while I'm drawing the cards, I'm putting additional lands into play, and that's making me 4/4s with the Baloths. This is what we call a value engine. I think you know I like those.
Those shenanigans I was talking about, yeah, they're happening.
And then I'll go to combat. My stuff has trample, so Crim, I'm gonna swing at you with a Rampaging Baloths.
I'll block with my face.
Okay.
And I'll go down to 34.
And that's all I can do, so go ahead, Jimmy.
All right, I will untap and draw for turn. I'll go to combat, and Josh, I'm going to swing at you with a Flying Dalakos Crafter of Wonders that is a 4/5.
Okay, I will not block, so I will take 4, going to 42, and it's also commander damage.
When it hits you, Dowsing Dagger is going to trigger and flip over and become Lost Veil.
A little bit more ramp there.
Josh and Ashlen are doing really scary things, but at the very least, I have access to a lot of mana. So I'm behind, but only in the card draw territory.
And then I'm going to tap the Metalworker, revealing my Great Furnace from my hand, so I'll add 2 mana.
All right.
Josh is going nuts over there, but I might be able to catch up to him or even surpass him with just 1 card.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, because I'm improvising out Saheeli's Directive for 8.
Ruh-roh.
Oh, come on.
This is getting out of control.
Oh, wow. If Jimmy gets 3, 4, 5 artifacts off the top and just puts them onto the battlefield, he could immediately be way ahead in this game, regardless of what value engines I've already set up.
Okay, so like normally I wouldn't want you to hit anything off this, but on this board state, I kind of hope Jimmy hits enough to where he's a threat to Josh, but I also don't want Jimmy to hit like every artifact in his deck. So yeah, if you could, Jimmy, just get a few things, a few good things, just not too many. Thanks.
Well, let's see what he gets.
All right, I'll reveal the top 8 cards of my library and put any number of artifact cards with converted mana cost 8 or less from among them on the battlefield.
Yep.
And
Really?
I have 1 artifact.
What is it? Tormod's Crypt?
Oof. Brutal.
All right, that was really dumb.
Oh, that's just painful.
I just paid 11 mana and tapped out for a Tormod's Crypt. That's a 0 mana artifact.
Okay, and the rest of these go into my graveyard.
It's not funny. No one's laughing.
Oh no, no.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, Jimmy.
That was Hermit Druid-esque.
Yep, sweet. There's not 30 artifacts in this deck. I'll pass turn to you, Crim.
All right, untapping my real estate, and then I'll draw for turn. I'm gonna tap 4, and then I'm gonna play Thassa, Deep Dwelling.
Nice.
All right, this is awesome. I've been excited. And the key part of this card is this super sweet end of turn blink ability. This is the perfect way to get back into the game. This card will allow me to go ahead and take advantage of all my enter the battlefield effects in my deck.
I'll go to my end step. Thassa, Deep Dwelling will trigger. I'll target my Trophy Mage, and then it'll exile. And then it'll come back. I'll go look for another 3-drop artifact. I'll grab an Icon of Ancestry,
Ooh.
Yeah, you got it.
and I'll put it into my hand. And then I have 8 cards, so I'll have to go to discard. So I'll put Cage Sun in my graveyard. I'm all done. Your go.
All right.
Crim passes the turn here, and I can't help but notice that he misses his land drop. He's already behind on ramp because of the Selvalas, the Metal Worker, all this stuff. So if he doesn't hit some land soon, I don't think that bodes well for him in this game.
All right, I will untap everything and draw for turn.
So because of Courser of Crewfix, Ashlen always has to reveal the top card of her library.
Okay. Reveal. Bonfire of the Damned.
Oh no.
Perfect.
This is bad news for me because I have the biggest and scariest board, and she'll almost certainly cast it against me, which will wipe all of my creatures away.
We're gonna have to wait till next turn for her to play this, but she gets to miracle it out, and it's going straight at Josh. That means it's gonna even out the playing field and leave our boards untouched.
She can't play it yet, but next turn, when she does, it's gonna be awesome.
The writing's on the wall, and by that, I mean I'm going to Bonfire of the Damned Josh's face back to the Stone Age. Okay, my commander will trigger, and Josh, I'll exile Evacuation out of your graveyard.
Okay.
That wasn't a land, so you all take 2 and I gain 2.
Down to 32 I go.
34.
40.
I'm going to activate Selvala for 4. I needed 1 more, and I'll play Xenagos, God of Revels.
Oh gosh.
Scary, scary.
This card is awesome. Not only does it make my big creatures bigger and give them haste, but it turns a devotion on for both my gods. So let's do some damage. And then I will go to combat. Xenagos will trigger, and I will give Klothys +X/+X. So it's an 8/9.
Okay.
Klothys will go at Josh, and the Protein Hydra will go at Jimmy again.
Here we go.
I am going to block with one of my beasts, and so my beast token will die, but I will take no damage.
I have no blockers, so I will take 4 damage.
Sounds good. And that's it. I'll pass my turn.
Okay, I will untap all this stuff and draw. I'm gonna start by playing a forest, which will trigger my Balos again. So I'll make a 4/4 to replace the one that I just lost. Then I'm going to activate my Selvala to add 6 mana to my mana pool. I'll use 4 of it on Guardian Project.
Yep.
All right.
The thing about my deck is I plan to cast my commander a bunch of times, and it draws me a card, but every other way that says, hey, when a creature comes in, you draw a card is gonna be really good because it just piles up the value. Okay, I'll add a green to that. So I have 3 floating, and I'll recast Uro. So there's 3 triggers. Guardian Project will trigger first. I'll draw a card. Then Uro will trigger, and I will gain 3 life. Draw a card,
Great.
and then put a land from my hand onto the battlefield. It's an island. That will trigger Rampaging Balos, and I will make another beast token. And then the escape trigger is on the stack. I will pay the blue with Crystal Shard and bounce Uro back to my hand.
Okay then.
And then I'm gonna pay 3, and I'm gonna cast Uro again. Same thing, draw off Guardian Project, draw off Uro, gain 3 life, put a land from my hand onto the battlefield. However, I have no land.
Great.
This makes a lot of sense from Josh. He sees that the Bonfire of the Damned is on the top of Ashlen's deck, and so he's not gonna overcommit to the board. He's just gonna keep gaining value off of his cards, and then next turn, when it all gets wiped away, he's gonna just refresh and start over again.
Then the escape trigger will go on the stack, and I have to sacrifice Uro,
Thank goodness.
and I'll put it back in the command zone.
Did I mention those shenanigans? They're still happening. No one's stopping this, right? Okay, cool. Good, great.
And then I will go to combat, and I will swing at Jimmy for 4 and Crim for 6.
All right, I can't block, so I will take 4 damage.
I'm gonna face block again and take 6. Go down to 26.
And then I have 8 cards in my hand, so I'll pass the turn, but I have to discard first. And I will discard Nylea, Keen-Eyed, and Jimmy, go ahead.
I will untap and I will draw for turn. I will tap 3 mana and play Saheeli, Sublime Artificer.
Cool.
All right.
I'm playing this card mostly because it gives me a bunch of tokens and value, but you can get really tricky with her negative ability and replicating some fun artifacts on your side of the table.
Okay, I'm going to -2 her, changing my Tormod's Crypt into a Lightning Greaves. And then I'm going to equip the Lightning Greaves onto the Metalworker. And with Dalakos, Crafter of Wonders, now he has flying and haste.
Yep.
Sweet.
And then I will play Castle Embereth.
Ooh, nice.
One of the best practices that we recommend when making a commander deck is make sure that your lands work for you. And a card like this is great because it pumps your whole team at once. And when they have a lot of tokens running around, well, that effect is just multiplied in terms of how good it is.
I will go to combat. Josh, I will swing at you for 3 in the air.
Okay.
Before damage, I'm gonna tap my Castle Embereth to give creatures I control +1/+0 until end of turns. So Josh, you are taking 5 damage.
Okay.
And then 3 of that is commander damage.
We'll go down to 41, so I have 7 commander damage from that thing.
Yep.
I'll worry about it in a little bit, but. So I take a little bit of damage here, but I think it's actually good news because Jimmy's using his 2 mana-producing creatures to attack with, which means his hand must not be very good, otherwise he would play those cards.
I'll pass turn to you, Crim.
I'm gonna untap. I'll draw for turn. All right. I'll tap an island. And I'll play Sage of Fables.
This card is in here to be a card advantage engine. I'm so far behind right now, I'm just trying to catch up, and I've already missed some land drops. It doesn't help that I've also got colorless lands, so, I'm really hoping to draw more lands and, preferably islands.
Go to my end step. Thassa will trigger, target my Trophy Mage, and then it'll come back. I'll go look for another 3-drop artifact. I'll go find Cloudstone Curio.
Sweet.
All right, nice.
Put that into my hand. And because of Sage of Fables, Trophy Mage will come back with a 1/1 counter on it.
Oh, okay.
And now I've got 8 cards. I have to discard a Caliph, and then it'll be your turn.
All right. It would have been nice if Jimmy or Crim could have helped with the Josh problem, but I think I got it under control. All right, so I will untap, draw Bonfire of the Damned. Because it's the first card I've drawn this turn, I will cast it for its miracle cost, where X equals 6.
Who are you targeting?
You.
I thought so. I was just making sure.
The time has come. I'm gonna deal a bunch of damage to Josh, kill all his creatures. It's gonna get this game back in control.
Okay, finally, the board wipe we were all waiting for.
Yes! We can finally level the playing field.
Okay, so we knew this was coming. It's really bad news for me. Gonna deal a bunch of damage to my face, kill all of my creatures. Luckily, I said we knew this was coming, right? In response, I will play Narset's Reversal.
No!
Oh no.
So I will send the spell back at you, Ashlen.
Oh, he had it. Not only did he have it, but he had like the worst version of it. And I guess, well, we should have seen it coming. He's drawn about 50 billion cards at this point of the game.
All right, well, I can't do anything about that, so I will take 6, going down to 35, and then all of my creatures will also take 6. But 2 of them are indestructible, so they won't die.
Yep.
That's actually a pretty bad blowout.
That is how that goes.
I use all my mana, waste my whole turn. I don't think that could have gone any worse. Cool. All right, so I'll move to my main phase. Klothys will trigger. I will target Josh's graveyard again, hitting the Evolving Wilds.
All right, yep, it happens.
And that'll give me a red mana. And then I will use that and these to play Pyrohenia.
Oh.
Beautiful.
Oh, Devotion is back. That's actually kind of bad, okay.
Yeah, bad for you.
All right, this can be a scary card. It can do a lot of damage, continuously wipe the board. The thing to note here, though, is that Ashlen only has 1 mountain. So the threat from Pyrohemia, it's in the future. It's not gonna do much right now.
I'll move to combat. Zyndalos will trigger. I'll give Klothys +4/+4.
It's an 8/9 again.
And she will go right towards you, Josh.
I think once again I will block with a beast. So it will die. These noble beasts saving me.
And that's all I got this turn.
All right, on your end step, I will tap 2 mana and I'm going to cast Reality Shift, targeting your Rampaging Bailoffs, Josh.
Nice. That needs to go.
So there are a lot of targets on my board, and this is actually the one that I don't want anybody to hit. This is my one way to convert my value engine into damage against my opponents. Everything else is just kind of spinning wheels, drawing more cards. This one hurts. All right, that will get exiled,
Sweet.
and I will manifest the top card of my library. That's a non-token creature, so it will trigger Guardian Project. So I will draw a card.
Again?
That will also trigger Saheeli. So I'll create a 1/1 servo.
Value.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
We are in huge trouble now because Josh's board state is just completely unopposed. I don't have a board wipe, Crim has no mana, and Ashlen just had her entire board taken out by her own card.
Okay, I will untap and I will draw for turn. I'm going to tap Solvala for 4, add 1, so I have 5 mana in my mana pool. Because I have a 4/4 on the board, I'll play the Great Henge.
Oh, come on.
I mean, this card, it's awesome. If you just read it, it provides mana, it gains life, it makes creatures bigger, it draws cards, it does basically everything. And then go to combat, and I'm going to swing both beasts at Jimmy.
I will block one of them with a servo, and the servo is gonna die. And I'll take 4 damage. So I'm gonna go to 22.
Yeah, then I will pass the turn.
The board state by now, all of us should have already banded together and like Josh's board would have been dealt with, but because of Narset's reversal, Josh just keeps getting more powerful.
Untap. I will draw a card. Okay, I'm going to tap my Mellow Worker, and I'm going to reveal a Great Furnace and a Worm Coil Engine from my hand. So that's 4 mana, and I will tap an additional 2 for 6 to play Worm Coil Engine.
Yay.
That's a good card.
Normally I'd be really scared of this card, but this might be the card we need right now. It does Death Touch and Lifelink, so it's gonna keep Jimmy in the game, and hopefully take out some of Josh's creatures.
And then I will tap my Lost Veil for 3 red mana and cast Thopter Engineer. So when it enters the battlefield, I create 1 Thopter token.
Nice.
I know my commander can give my creatures haste, but this is a redundant effect in my deck, and it's gonna do some work here.
I'm gonna -2 Saheeli, and I'm gonna turn my Thopter into a Worm Coil Engine.
That's pretty good.
And then I will move the Lightning Greaves over to Worm Coil Engine. That's not a copy. I'll go to combat. Ashlen, I'll swing one of the Worm Coil Engines at you, and Josh, I'll swing the other one with flying at you.
I will block with my Xenagos.
And I have no blocks.
Okay, before damage is done, I will tap Castle Embereth to give my creatures +1/+0.
Wow.
So it's gonna be 7 total to both of you.
Jeez.
My token copy of Worm Coil Engine will die. And when it dies, I'll create a 3/3 Death Touch Worm and a 3/3 Lifelink Worm.
Okay, I will go down to 34.
And then I will gain 14 life, so I'll go up to 36.
This was a pretty impressive turn from Jimmy. He gains a bunch of life from the lifelink, puts a bunch of power on the board. He's gonna be tough to attack now because of that Death Touch. The only thing I'm noticing though is he's pretty low on cards. He's running out of gas, so I don't think he's that big of a threat long term.
And I'll pass turn to you, Crim.
At the end of your turn, I'm gonna use my Sage of Fables to remove a 1/1 counter from Trophy Mage. And draw a card. Okay, so I'm gonna go to untap, and then I'm gonna draw for turn, and then I'm gonna play Reliquary Tower.
You did it.
I did it. I hit land number 5. I'm gonna tap 3 mana, and I'm gonna cast Icon of Ancestry. I'm gonna choose Wizards for my creature type.
Okay.
Perfect. I can grow my board here. My 2/2s are no longer 2/2s. First off, that's great. And on top of that, I have the reduction from Urza's Incubator. So this allows me to leave up my blue mana so I can do some wizard trickery stuff.
All right, so I'm gonna go to my end step, and then Thassa will trigger. I'm gonna go ahead and blink Trophy Mage. It'll come back with a 1/1 counter because of Sage of Fables. But I'm not gonna find an artifact this time.
That sucks.
Oh, poor Crim. He's been missing land drops. His deck hasn't really found any ramp. I really hope he gets to do something soon because we could really use the help right now.
I'll pass.
I will untap, I will draw for turn, move to main phase, Klothys will trigger, and I will target your Buried Ruin, Jimmy.
Okay. It will be exiled from my graveyard.
And I will get a green mana from that. So, I will cast Uvenwald Hydra.
Ooh, nice.
Yep.
When it ETBs, I get to search for a land, and I'll find a Kessig Wolfrun.
Nice.
Pretty good.
This is perfect. My Kessig Wolfrun paired with my Xenagos means that I have the potential to do a lot of damage out of nowhere. I will move to combat. Xenagos will target the Ulvenwald Hydra, giving it haste and +6/+6.
So it's a 12/12?
Yes.
Chill.
Just a chill 12/12.
This is a chill 12/12. I'm gonna swing the Hydra and Klothys at you, Josh.
So as good as my value engine has been, she's doing a pretty good job of keeping me in check. Luckily, at this moment, Ashlen can't activate the Keswick Wolf Run, so I still get to do some tricky stuff and avoid damage this turn. I'm going to block the 12/12 with my Manifest creature. And then before damage, I'm gonna pay a blue, tap the Crystal Shard, and I'm gonna bounce the Manifest creature back to my hand. So that will leave the Hydra blocked, but the Klothys unblocked, so I will take 4, going to 30, and that is commander damage.
All right, that's my turn. Josh, I pass to you.
On your end step, I'm gonna tap the Great Hinge for 2 green mana. I'll gain 2 life from that. And then I'll add 4 more mana, and I will cast Torrential Gearhulk, which currently has no target. I'm doing it for the Guardian Project turn, and I will draw a card. And because I have Great Hinge, it will come in with a +1/+1 counter, and I'll draw another card.
Jeez.
We're at a point where Josh can cast a Torrential Gearhulk just for straight value. He's just doing it to draw cards. He doesn't even need to get anything off of it. This is crazy.
And then I will untap and draw my card for turn. Okay, I'm going to start off by tapping 3. I'm gonna play Copy Enchantment, and I will copy the Xenagos.
Wow, unreal.
So I'm copying Xenagos here because the thing I really need the most is damage against my opponents. I got card draw and ramp more than covered. I need to start hitting people.
They say that imitation is the most sincerest form of flattery. But seriously, stop taking my stuff, Josh.
I didn't take any, I just copied it.
Same thing.
All right, then I'm gonna tap 2 and I'm gonna cast Reality Shift, targeting your Xenagos.
No, can't do anything about that.
And then you manifest.
Well, that happened.
Now that I have copied Xenagos, I would really rather prefer that Ashlen doesn't have one, so I don't have to worry about taking like 20 damage out of nowhere. Then when I go to combat, my Xenagos will trigger. I will turn my Torrential Gearhulk into a 12 power creature. Unfortunately, none of my attacks are that great here. Jimmy has Death Touchers, Crim has those plant tokens, so I guess I may as well take out that Manifest if I can. All right, I'm gonna swing in at Ashlen for 12.
I will block with the Manifest creature.
The Manifest creature, I believe, will die.
It was a land.
Then I will tap my Forest and activate Selvala for 12 mana.
Wow,
This is getting out of control.
unreal.
Here we see the power of Selvala and Xenagos, because now I have a 12 power creature on the board. That's a lot of mana. I have 6 blue and 6 green. I'll play Altar of Dementia.
Oh no.
I really don't know what Josh is doing right now, but Altar Dementia is a very mean card. We need to stop it. As if we already, didn't have a reason to, we really need to stop it.
Then I will go to cast Uro for 7, so I'll have 3 mana left.
Trigger, 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 trigger. You have a Great Henge trigger, the Guardian Project, and 2 on Uro.
The first thing I'll do is draw for a Great Henge, put a +1/+1 counter on Uro, draw for Guardian Project, then I'll draw for Uro, gain 3 life, and then I'll put a land into play, which is a Scalding Tarn. Escape triggers on the stack. So now we're in a great loop where I can play Uro for 4 out of the graveyard and always sack him to put 6 cards back in the graveyard to play him again out of the graveyard. And I'll just never have to pay commander tax ever again. So I'm actually gonna sacrifice Uro to the Altar of Dementia. And I'm gonna target myself, so I'll mill myself for 7.
Okay, in response to you using the Altar of Dementia on yourself, I am going to activate Tormod's Crypt and exile your graveyard, Josh.
Oh, right. I forgot that Jimmy had Graveyard Hate on the battlefield. Okay, my graveyard gets exiled.
All right.
When that happens, I'll put Uro back in the command zone, who now costs 9 mana to recast. It's actually a little bit of a blow because Uro's getting pretty expensive to cast from the command zone now. But the altar trigger is still in the stack, so I'm still gonna mill 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
For as scary as Josh's board is, at the very least, we're forcing him to reload every single turn at least a little bit. And any amount of chipping away at his board is gonna be better than nothing.
Then I'm going to use that 3 floating to cast a Farhaven Elf. And I will find an island and put it into the battlefield tapped. It'll also trigger Great Henge and Guardian Project, so I'll draw 2, and it will get a +1/+1 counter. And then I'll play a Flooded Strand, and that's all I can do, so go ahead, Jimmy.
All right, untap and draw. Okay, I'm gonna go to combat. So Ashlen, I'm gonna swing 2 worms at you, and Josh, I'll swing 6 at you in the air.
No blocks.
I can't block, no flyers.
Okay, I will use Castle Embereth, give all my creatures +1/+0. So that's gonna be 7 to you, Josh, and 8 to you, Ashlen.
I take 8 and go to 27.
All right.
And I take 7
and I go to 28.
And I will gain 11 from lifelink, going to 47.
Nice.
My life total is actually really healthy right now, and that's probably the only silver lining on this situation. I don't really have any cards in my hand. I just have creatures on the board, but at the very least, I have a little bit of buffer. So this is just gonna give me more time to figure out how to answer this.
And that's gonna do it for me. I'll pass turn to you, Crim.
At the end of Jimmy's turn, I'm gonna tap my 2 islands and I'm gonna play a Naru Meha, Master Wizard. And it'll also enter with a 1/1 counter, thanks to my Sage of Fables.
This is perfect. The team's coming together. Pump all my wizards by 1. On top of that, I have Icon Ancestry to also pump by 1. And I have my Sage of Fables, which is just putting a counter on every wizard that comes into play. This is perfect. Everybody's hitting each other. I'm slowly building up my power. No one look at me. It's fine. I'm okay.
So this is a cool card. It's gonna pump all of Crim's wizards. The really important thing to me here though is that he tapped out in order to cast it. So that means no counter spells. The window is open, and you should never leave a window open when the cyclone's coming.
In response to that, I'm gonna crack my Scalding Tarn and my Flooded Strand. So I'll take 2, going to 26. And I'm gonna find,
2 islands.
yep, exactly, 2 islands. And then I'm going to cast Cyclonic Rift Overloaded.
Really?
Oh no.
There it is.
Not gonna lie to you, I'm a little heartbroken right now. Very heartbroken. It's okay, I'll just rebuild.
I got nothing for that.
I have nothing.
All right, so that's gonna resolve, and bounce all of this stuff back to our hand.
Yikes.
This is finally where we're gonna start making the moves that will close out the game. My board is huge, I got tons of stuff, my opponents have nothing. I gotta be able to shut the door from here. Shut the doors, close the windows, we're in a house, a cyclone came, the metaphor's just great.
I'm going to cast Cyclonic Rift Overloaded.
Really?
Oh no.
There it is.
All right, so that's gonna resolve and bounce all of this stuff back to our hand.
Yikes.
Gosh, being reset like this and having to rebuild and try and find more answers, let's be honest, this feels like the death knell of the game.
And I'll also gain 2 life because of Great Hinge when I tap it.
Just rub it in.
All right, so I'm gonna go to untap. I'll draw for turn.
So I guess the only way we as the table can get back in this game now after that Cyclonic Rift is if I can reset Josh's board.
Well, I think I'm gonna just have to end my turn there.
What?
What?
Yeah, because of my Reliquary Tower, I have no maximum hand size, so I don't have to discard. Ashlyn, it'll be your turn.
All right.
Okay.
So I guess I'll just have to leave up my 5 mana. I clearly don't have anything in my hand to do.
I will untap and draw. Crim has 5 mana on the board, and we know that he could replay a bunch of the stuff that was just on the board, but he passes without doing anything. All right, Crim, I see you. All right, so I will tap 4, and I will play Steelbane Hydra with 2 counters on it. So my read on the situation is that Crim is setting up to bounce all of our stuff. So I can get a lot of use out of this creature and use it again later. I will go ahead and pay 3 and remove a counter, targeting your Great Hinge, Josh.
Yep, that will destroy the Great Hinge.
There's a lot of bad things on Josh's board right now, but this one draws him cards, pumps his creatures, and gains him life, so it's gotta be my first choice. All right, you did all you could do, Hydra. Go ahead, Josh.
Well, I'm gonna reward you, because at the end of your turn, you can have that Hydra back. Because I'm gonna cast Evacuation.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is what I thought was gonna happen when Crim just left up all that mana, and it means my follow-up for the Cyclonic Rift is going to be rebuilding my board along with everybody else.
Okay, in response to that, I am going to sacrifice my 2 beast tokens to my Altar of Dementia. And I'm gonna mill myself for 8.
Nice.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I get Plasm Capture is the only instance. Bane of Progress is worth noting.
Oh gosh.
All of us noticed that when Josh mills himself here, that a Plasm Capture enters his graveyard. Josh now has a counterspell that he can cast at any time because of the Torrential Gearhulk that's been bounced back to his hand. Those two pair up really well to say, hey, you wanna play something? Nah, I'm gonna counter it.
Oh, this is gonna be super annoyed.
Then I return the creatures to my hand and you get the Hydra back.
Nice.
At least, you know, Josh has to redeploy all his stuff, spend all his mana again, and at this point we just need Josh to constantly be tapped down on resources.
This gives us some breathing room. this gives us a chance.
It's worrisome because there's 3 of them and 1 of me, and the longer that they stick around, the more chances they have to team up, find answers, and shut me down.
Okay, because the Hydra went back to my hand, I now have 8 and need to discard. I will discard Exploration. Your turn, Josh.
All right, I will untap, and I will draw. And I'm gonna play Royal Elemental.
Oh, jeez.
No.
This is just another incredibly impactful card. Josh has a bunch of fetch lands and ways to get extra lands onto the battlefield already on his board. So that means that he can just take our creatures whenever he wants, and he has a counterspell open. What are we supposed to do here?
Guardian Project will trigger. I will draw a card.
Look at Josh's deck size compared to ours.
I know.
And the card draw.
Then I will go to combat. Xenagos will trigger, targeting Royal Elemental. So it's a 6/5, and I will swing at Ashlen for 6. You blew up my Great Henge.
I'll take 6. Going to 21. I am not feeling great here. I'm down to half my starting life total, and I have nothing on the board. This is not looking good.
Then I will tap a blue, and I will play Hedron Crab.
All right.
And then I'll go to my end step, and I have 9 cards, so I'll discard a Farhaven Elf and a Simic Growth Chamber. And then go ahead, Jimmy.
Okay. I will untap and I will draw for turn. Jeez Louise, come on, man.
Ugh, I hate being in this position. I don't want to play anything good because it's either gonna get countered or stolen. So I guess my only option is just to play out a bunch of little things that maybe he doesn't care about so he doesn't bother to steal them.
All right, I will tap 3 and play Saheeli again.
Can't steal that.
I will tap 2 and I will cast Lightning Greaves. That's gonna trigger Saheeli, and I'll create a servo.
All right, yep, it happens.
I will then tap 3 and cast Thopter Engineer. That's gonna come in with a 1/1 Thopter token.
Okay, you would think that it's not good if your opponents know you have a counterspell available to you. However, it's often the opposite, because they overreact, they don't play their best cards, and you virtually cast the counterspell multiple times by them stopping themselves from doing stuff because they know about it.
And then I will tap 3 mana, and I will play Dalakos, Crafter of Wonders back out.
Yep, it resolves.
And then I'll move to equip Dalakos with the Lightning Greaves.
Okay, in response to that, I'm gonna crack the Misty Rainforest, going down to 27, and I will find a forest, put it into play. When that enters the battlefield, 2 landfall triggers. The Hedron Crab will mill me for 3 cards. And then Royal Elemental trigger, I'll steal the Dalakos.
Yep, that is how that goes.
This is why you want redundancy in your deck. Josh takes my commander, but I can still give my artifact creatures haste thanks to Thopter Engineer. Just to be clear, I'd still like to have my commander, but it is what it is.
I will now move to equip my Lightning Greaves onto my Thopter Engineer.
Okay.
I will go to combat, and Josh, I will swing at you in the air with 1 Thopter for 1 damage.
Yep, I don't have anything flying, so I will take 1, and I will go to 26.
Yeah, take that, Josh. 1 damage. You know what 1 + 1 + 1 + your life total is eventually? You die.
And I will pass the turn to you, Crim.
All right, I'm gonna untap. I'll draw for turn. Ancient Tomb.
For Mono Blue, you've got a lot of colorless
Yeah.
lands out there.
At this point, I've got to just start rebuilding somewhere. I've only got 2 blue sources and a bajillion blue cost cards, so I'm gonna just have to try to rebuild my board and hope no one looks my way.
All right, so I'm gonna take 2, because I'm gonna tap Ancient Tomb, go to 26 to 24, and I'm gonna play Urza's Incubator. I'm gonna name Wizards, so now my Wizards cost 2 less. And then I'm gonna cast Sage of Fables. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just pass the turn.
I think it's pretty obvious to all of us, and of course the viewers at home, that Josh is the arch enemy, and we need to figure out whatever we can do to get rid of his board state, and there are so many things to deal with. Whatever we can do here, we're gonna have to work together.
All right, I will untap and draw. He can still cast Gear Hulk, right?
Yeah, but we have to bait it out at some point otherwise. I mean, killing Royal Elemental is probably the closest we're gonna get.
But she knows I'll counter that.
Yeah, I need to bait out the Plasma Capture.
Well, we all need to
Yeah.
at some point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to team together right now. To be honest with you, we're trying to get those counterspells out of his hand, and I don't think I play a single thing, or at least in my hand currently, that would even make Josh want a Plasma Capture. So I'm not really any help here, unfortunately.
Okay, I will play a mountain, and then I will play Pyrrhemia. So my thinking here is that we need at least 2 ways to get rid of Josh's elemental. So if he counters this, I can use Bonfire on my next turn. And if he doesn't, I can activate it and get rid of it.
This is a really smart play by Ashlen because I know she has another kill spell in her hand, so I don't want to counter this, but it will kill the Royal Elemental. Luckily, she doesn't have very much red mana, so she can't do that this turn. She has to wait till next turn. which once again gives me the chance to get ready for it.
Yep, it's good.
All right, well then I'm gonna tap 3 and play Klothys, God of Destiny,
Okay.
who is not a creature.
Not online.
Not online. And that's it, I'll pass turn.
Okay, on your end step, I'm going to cast Torrential Gear Hulk. That will trigger the Guardian Project. I will draw a card and then go to untap and draw my card for turn. Okay, I'm gonna play a Wooded Foothills. That will trigger the Hedron Crab and the Royal Elemental. So I'll mill myself for 3. And with the Royal Elemental trigger, I'll take control of the Sage.
All right.
Because of that Pyrohemia, I know I'm probably not keeping these creatures long term, but I have an Altar of Dementia. So I can sack the stuff I've stolen so my opponents don't even get it back. It's virtually killing them when I steal them, so I may as well do it.
Then I'm gonna tap Dalakos and add 1, and I'm gonna play Mirage Mirror.
Oh, okay.
Josh's deck seems to have a theme of stealing or doing what other decks are doing in his value engine, and Mirage Mirror is a great version of that. Not only are there legendary gods running around that are enchantments, but there's also powerful creatures and artifacts, and this card can become any of them.
Oh, look, it's another way for Josh to copy all the stuff I'm doing.
All right, my opponents have hung around long enough. I finally drew a card that, well, there's no way they're gonna be able to come back from this.
And then I'm gonna tap 6, and I'm gonna play Seasons Past.
Really?
So that will get me back in order of CMC, a Misty Rainforest, a Cyclonic Rift, a Reclamation Sage, Plasm Capture, an Alhammer's Archive, a Bane of Progress, a Zendikar Resurgent, and a Great Henge.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all over.
Oh man, if this game wasn't over before, it is certainly over now. Josh has reloaded his hand, so he doesn't even need to flash out a Gear Hulk to counter something. He's got Cyclonic Rift again. Every single bad thing that we thought was dealt with at least once, well, it's coming back around.
There's times when you think it can't get any worse. It did.
Why?
Can you counter it?
No.
Oh, all right, it's resolving.
That puts it all in his hand.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I feel like when they look back, they open the books and they read the history of this game, they're gonna say that was the turning point. That's where he won the game.
And then I will go to combat. Xenagos will trigger. I'll make Torrential Gear Hulk into a 10-11. And I'll swing 5 at Crim and 10 at Ashlen.
No blocks. I'll take 5, go to
Okay.
19.
And no blocks for me either.
Go to 11.
Yep.
All right, and then the Gear Hulk is 10 power, so I will tap 2 green and play the Great Henge.
Wish I was playing green.
Josh has now reloaded his hand, gotten back the Great Henge that we as a group spent so much time getting rid of. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. I don't want to be the naysayer, but I think the game is pretty much put away here, and this is Josh's W.
And then I will go to my discard phase because I have a million cards. So I'm going to discard Homeward Path, Tatiova, Forest, Alhammer's Archive, and Misty Rainforest. And then I'll pass the turn.
Ugh, I think I'm at the worst position in the table because no matter what, when Josh passes the turn, I'm first up to the plate, and so he has all of his answers ready at that time. I just have to sit there and look at his entire board state and go, I can't do anything against that. I'm getting salty. This sucks.
Okay, I'll untap. I will draw a card. I'll play a land for turn, and I will go to combat. Hit you in the air for 1, Josh.
Okay, no blocks. I will go to 25.
Pass turn.
So Jimmy hits me for 1 and then does nothing and passes the turn. I can't actually tell if he's just that dejected or if he has some kind of a plan. It could go either way, honestly.
All right, I'll just untap. I'll go to my draw step. So I'm going to tap an island. I'm going to cast Trophy Mage.
Okay,
Enters the battlefield. I'm going to search my library for a Crystal Shard.
nice.
Put that to my hand since, Josh, I liked your Crystal Shard so much. I wanted one of my own.
I mean, he's winning. I mean, if I have one, do I start winning? I don't know. We'll find out.
Wow, look at that hand.
Yeah, I have a lot of cards.
Mostly because of that Psych Rift.
Yeah, that Cyclonic Rift really set me back. I'll play Icon of Ancestry. Naming wizards.
Okay.
And then I have to pass.
All right, let me get this straight. So Josh did a bunch of stuff. Jimmy did nothing. Crim did nothing. And now it's back to me. I could use a little help here, guys. I will untap. I will draw. Move to main phase. Klothys will hit your Misty Rainforest.
Okay, exiled.
So yeah, I will float a mana. activate Pyremia for 2. Well, we gotta get this Royal Elemental off the board so that we can at least start playing things, so here goes nothing.
Okay, in response, I will activate my Crystal Shard, targeting the Royal Elemental.
Oh no, Josh is gonna get his Royal Elemental back and just cast it. Oh, this is not going how I wanted it to.
If Josh returns that Royal Elemental to his hand, he's just gonna cast it again. We'll be in the exact same position we've been in. I just can't let that happen.
So in response to that, I'm gonna actually have to take 2 from my Ancient Tomb, and then I'm gonna cast Void Mage Husher. I would like to target the Crystal Shard activation.
Oh, you're gonna stop the ability.
Oh, this is a really good play by Crim. This means that the bounce doesn't happen and my Royal Elemental is going to die. It's unfortunate, but at least I can sack everything so that nobody gets their stuff back.
Okay, that gets stopped. So Pyromania damage still on the stack. I'm gonna sacrifice Dalakos, Hedron Crab, Sage of Fables, and Royal Elemental.
Okay, this is great. At least I'm now not afraid to play my creatures because they're not gonna get stolen. We still have the counterspell to worry about, so I'm feeling a little better, but we are definitely not out of it yet.
Scared of milling myself further. So,
Just mill yourself. There's no way you're dying to milling, Josh. I mean, look at your deck.
Besides,
Well,
look at your board state. You'll be fine.
So I've milled myself for a bunch and I've drawn a million cards every turn and my library's getting kind of low. I gotta stop milling myself. I'm gonna mill somebody else. I don't know if I can mill them out, but I just can't afford to lose any more cards out of my library at this point.
I'm gonna mill Ashlen for 7 total.
All right.
So then, everything takes 2. And we all take 2?
Yep.
Because of my Icon of Ancestry, my wizards will still be alive because they all +1/+1.
Nice.
Perfect. Now, we can start building a board again. We can start chipping away at Josh's empire. I think we're back in it.
Okay, this is good. Light at the end of the tunnel. Downside here is I had to do 2 damage to myself, and now I'm down to single digits, so I need to gain some life. All right, I will play Lifeblood Hydra for 4, so it'll enter with 4 counters on it.
That's great.
Look, it's a little bit of a long shot, obviously, but if things go well and I live to the next turn, I get to draw cards and gain life when it dies, plus it gives me devotion. I just gotta hope that Josh doesn't decide to kill me here. And pass turn.
Okay, on your end step, I'm just gonna tap the Great Hinge to gain 2 life. And then I will untap and draw.
Okay, my opponents have officially teamed up against me. It's 3v1. I gotta start knocking them out of the game so that I can get towards the finish line here. If they stick around too long, it could all go sideways.
Okay, I'm going to tap 2, and I'm gonna play Phantasmal Image, and I'm gonna copy the Torrential Gearhulk. But I have no instance in my graveyard, so that part of it doesn't matter. Just a 5/6. That'll trigger the Great Hinge, so it's actually a 6/7, and I'll draw a card. And then I guess I'll just tap 7, and I'll gain 2 from Great Hinge, and I'll play Cyclonic Rift again, overloaded.
Okay, I have no response.
I have no response.
I have no response.
Okay, bounces everything.
Okay then.
I feel like we were just rifted. We were just rifted. I just rebuilt my board. I'm like Charlie Brown in that football right now. I am getting so close. I'm just about to turn the corner, and then it's a reset again.
And then I'm going to pay 2, and I'm gonna turn my Mirage Mirror into a Torrential Gearhulk. And I'm gonna go to combat. Xenagos will trigger. I'll give this Torrential Gearhulk 10 power, swing it at Ashlen, and the other one, Crim, at you for 5.
Well, I can't block, so I will die. And I died to a lot of copies of cards from my deck and Cyclonic Rift. If you too have been affected by Cyclonic Rift, be sure to call 1-800 Why Isn't That Card Banned?
Oh, this is bad. This feels like Thanos levels of bad. We weren't winning 3v1, and we're certainly not gonna be winning 2v1 either.
I think the person with the best ways to threaten Josh just died.
And I have no responses or blocks, so I'll take 5. Go down to 10.
Ugh.
All right, and then I'll pass the turn.
How many cards do you have in your deck?
In my deck,
Still like got what, 30 cards in there?
33.
Okay then. Do you have anything that can bait out the Plasm Capture?
In the turn order that we're in, no. I think it's a little
I know,
awkward.
the turn order's been really in my favor.
I've just run out of options at this point. I've got to at least try to do something. Maybe I can find a card that can help bring us back. Fingers crossed that this actually works.
Okay, at the end of your turn, I'm gonna tap everything and I'm gonna Whir of Invention for 9.
Wow.
Do you counter it?
Ah, so I thought Jimmy was maybe just done with this game and not playing anything, but he actually has a plan here. The question is, do I want to counter it? I'm trying to think of an artifact that he might have in his deck that I'm really scared of here, and I can't come up with anything, so I actually think I'm just gonna let it resolve.
This might be wrong, but I'm gonna let you go ahead and resolve it.
Okay, I will look through my library and see what I can find.
Okay, good, he doesn't counter it, so it resolves, but do I even have anything in my deck that can actually do something here?
Okay, probably this.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's probably that.
All right, I will find an Ember Cleave and put it onto the battlefield.
Okay.
It feels like the only way I'm gonna steal this game is if I can get Josh out of nowhere with a ton of damage, and this equipment is the best way to do that. So hopefully I can sneak this through.
Okay, this is a big, scary equipment that can do a lot of damage, but it's probably not gonna one-shot me, so I think I was right not to counter it. I think I'm okay.
And then I'll untap and I will draw for turn. All right, I will start by casting Mellow Worker.
Yeah, it resolves.
I will tap 2 mana and I will cast Lightning Greaves.
I think that's okay.
Okay, I will move to equip the Mellow Worker with the Lightning Greaves.
Okay, well, here we are. Again, just playing the same things I've already played all game, again, and hoping none of them gets countered, again. I feel like I've been in this position before.
I will then activate the Mellow Worker, and I will reveal from my hand a Wormcoil Engine, Inspiring Statuary, and Seat of the Synod. So that's gonna give me 6 mana.
Right.
I will cast Wormcoil Engine for 6 mana.
I'm just hoping that, because of Jimmy's board with a gigantic Wormcoil Engine that's got a gigantic, that's a pretty big threat. Maybe just my army of tutus are just little dinky threats that Josh will just let slide under the radar.
And then I will tap the Lost Veil, and I'll cast Inspiring Statuary.
Sweet.
This Inspiring Statuary is a really cool card. Great in his deck. He's going to be able to use his artifacts as mana ramp cards, so he does have access to a ton of mana.
Okay, I will tap the Inspiring Statuary and the Lightning Greaves and 1 red to cast the Thopter Engineer.
Yep.
It's gonna come out with a Thopter. I will then move the Lightning Greaves and the Ember Cleave to Wormcoil Engine.
So it's a 7/7 Hasty Shroud with
Hasty
trample and double strike.
trample.
Gross.
I will go to combat. I will swing with my Wormcoil Engine and my Thopter at you, Josh.
I will throw my 6/7 Torrential Gearhulk in front of the Wormcoil.
So you'll take 8 total.
I go to 19.
And my Wormcoil Engine has double strike, so I'll gain 14, and I'll go to 59.
Seems good.
Then I'll pass the turn.
I'm feeling really good here because Jimmy's sort of big tricky play just kind of ended with me taking a few points of damage. The only downside here is Jimmy's at a high life total, so it's gonna take a couple swings to knock him out. But I think we're close to the finish line. I think I'm good.
On your end step, I'm gonna crack my Wooded Foothills. I'm gonna find a Breeding Pool, put it on play untapped, and go to 16.
Okay, your turn, Crim.
I'll go ahead and untap, then I'll draw for turn.
So now, looks like my plan to get back in this is I'm gonna wait for that one sweet turn where I can just flood the board with a bunch of wizards because Josh is at a low enough health total. It's kind of a long shot here. I'm most likely not going to win at this point, but I hope I can just make Josh's life a little more difficult on his path to victory.
I'm gonna go ahead and play Elite Instructor. When it enters the battlefield, I draw a card, then discard a card.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw away a Riptide Director. Then I'm gonna go ahead and take 2 more, going down to 8. And I'm gonna play Urza's Incubator, once again, naming wizards.
Okay.
I guess I'll play Trophy Mage. So Trophy Mage will grab me an Extra Planar Lens, which will now go to my hand, and then I will pass.
Unfortunately, Crim just has not been able to be a factor very much in this game, and it looks like that's gonna continue. I just can't see anything that's gonna knock me from my perch here.
Okay, I'm gonna untap, and I will draw. I'm gonna start off by tapping 7, and I'll gain 2 life from the Great Henge. And then I will play Zendikar Resurgent.
Ugh.
All right, even more card draw, even more mana ramp. Josh has everything he needs, so why not just, I don't know, do more of it? This honestly just kind of feels like overkill.
Then I'm going to tap for 4, I'll float 1 green. I'll play Rex Sage, targeting the Lightning Greaves.
Okay, it blows up.
And then, Great Henge trigger, Zendikar Resurgent trigger, Guardian Project trigger. I'll draw 3 cards.
Ugh.
Blowing up the Greaves means that all of Jimmy's stuff is susceptible to instant speed removal, which means I don't have to really be scared of him suddenly suiting up one of his creatures, making it too big for me to deal with, and also it having Shroud. At the very least, I'll be able to respond to it, kill it. It's really just an insurance policy, so he just is gonna have a very hard time knocking me out of nowhere.
I'm still floating the 1 green. I'll add 2 blue to it. I'll play Fade into Antiquity. I'll target the Wormcoil Engine with that, so it exiles.
Yep.
Okay, so the deal damage to Josh plan kind of just went out the window there. My board state has just been neutered. Does anyone got a backup plan? Anybody? Yeah, that's a no.
So I've got the 1 floating. I'll add 4 more, so I've got 5 total floating. For 2 of it, I'll activate Mirage Mirror and turn it into an Embercleave. And then for 3, I'll attach that Embercleave to my Torrential Gearhulk.
Okay.
Then I'll go to combat. Xenagos will trigger, targeting the Torrential Gearhulk. So it'll have 12 power now. And Jimmy, I will swing at you with my 12 power Double Striker with Trample.
Yep, I take 24 damage.
Okay.
So I'll go to 35.
And then I'm gonna tap 6 and play Mole Drifter, which will be a 3/3 because of Great Henge, and then I'll draw because of Guardian Project and Zendikar Resurgent.
This draws me like 5 cards when it comes into play, which is awesome, but I am putting this out as a flyer because of Jimmy's commander gives flying, and I'm just trying to close off all the weird possibilities that I might die out of nowhere, and just being able to block flyers seems like a good idea.
And then I have 11 cards in my hand, so I'll go to discard. I will discard a Blighted Woodland, an Island, a Forest, and a Farseek. Then I will pass the turn.
Okay.
Josh's turn was amazing. There goes that clock that we had that was in the air. Josh has drawn so many cards. It was a lot before, it's a lot now. Sure hope Jimmy's got a plan.
Let's go ahead and tap the Inspiring Statuary and the Great Furnace for 2 mana, and I'll cast Goblin Engineer. Goblin Engineer enters the battlefield. I will find Mirage Mirror and put it into my graveyard.
Okay.
Nice.
I'll tap 5 mana, and I'll recast my commander, Dalakos, and I'm gonna tap Embercleave and 2 mana. I'm gonna cast Saheeli. Resolve.
Yeah, it happens.
This game is so brutal because we're just sort of climbing through the sludge to even get some breathing room here. We really have to put our heads together and pool our resources if we want to have any chance at getting out of this.
If you can get him low enough, I can deal some damage. I mean, you know that I have a Naru Meha in here and an Icon of Ancestry, so that's at least +2.
Yeah. I will tap 3, and I will equip the Embercleave to Dalakos.
Yep.
I'll go to combat, Josh, and I'll swing at you with Dalakos, and I will also swing at you with a 1/1 Thopter.
All right, I'll block the Dalakos with my Mole Drifter.
Okay, so you're
I'll
gonna take 4.
3/4, yep. So the Mole Drifter will die, and I'll go to 14.
And that's all I could do. I will pass the turn back.
I'm passing the turn, and I'm trying to keep this pretty low key here so that Josh doesn't notice it, but do you see it? One of the cards I just played, I think, actually gives me a road to a victory right now. It's still a little bit of a long shot, and I'm not sure if the math adds up, but if Josh doesn't notice, I might be able to steal this game.
Okay, at the end of your turn, I'll cast a Portal Mage. I guess it's better to just get on board now.
Amazing.
So I'm untapping now with all my stuff, and they're not in my hand. They haven't been bounced. This is new territory for me here.
I will go to my turn. I'm gonna untap. I'll draw a card per turn.
Okay.
And I'm gonna cast Seagate Oracle. Look at the top 2 cards of my library, put one of them into my hand and the other on the bottom of the library.
All right.
Value.
I will take this one.
Okay.
And let me see here. I'm gonna play Naru Meha. Just another pump effect for my team of wizards.
Nice.
All right, so now I've got the chance to play a card that will definitely impact this game.
Now I'm going to play a Master of Waves.
Ooh.
I have a devotion of 7.
So you're gonna get 7 elementals?
7 elementals.
Let's go.
Ruh-roh.
Crim finally comes through at, I think, the most crucial part of the game. Josh has a few really big creatures, but he doesn't have a lot of blockers. Crim's board state, if he goes wide enough thanks to that Master of Waves, might be enough to kill Josh.
My life total, actually, looking at it now, it seems kind of low compared to the amount of stuff that Crim just got out on the board. It's a little bit scary.
And then I'm going to take 2 from Ancient Doom, go down to 6, and cast Icon of Ancestry. If it resolves,
Yeah, it resolves.
I'm gonna name elementals on this.
Oh, wow, that's great.
So it might seem intuitive here to just name wizards, but since I've got that Crystal Shard and I've got a Cloudstone Curio, I figure I could just keep bouncing my Master of Waves. And this way, my elementals won't die when I do that.
The thing here is, like, if I swing out, Josh, you've got a 3/2 on board?
I have a 3/2 on board, yeah.
Okay.
And my Mirage Mirror is still untapped.
You only have 3 creatures?
Yeah.
So only one of them will get through?
Yeah, it's pointless. I've got to just hold back for a turn if I have another. We'll see.
We'll see.
That'll be your turn, Josh.
Okay, on your end step, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna tap 2, activate Mirage Mirror, and turn it into a Crystal Shard. And I'm gonna activate Crystal Shard twice, targeting Naru Meha.
I won't pay. Naru Meha will return to my hand.
Okay,
So here's my view of the situation. Jimmy likely to attack me with one big creature. Crim gonna attack me with a bunch of little ones. My deck's way better set up to handle Jimmy than it is Crim. So I'm gonna focus on him, try and get him out of this game, and then mono-y-mono, I'm pretty sure I can take Jimmy down.
And then I will untap for turn, and I will draw. Okay, so I'm gonna get tricky with the Mirage Mirror, so here's what's gonna happen.
Okay.
Activate the Mirage Mirror to turn it into an Ember Cleave. But I'm gonna maintain priority, so that triggers on the stack. I'm gonna pay 2 and activate Mirage Mirror to turn it into a Crystal Shard.
Okay.
Normally when Mirage Mirror turns into something, it loses the ability to then turn into something else until the end of turn. But if you stack the triggers, so you turn it into something, but before it turns into that, you say, no, I want you to turn it into this thing, it'll remember both. So it's gonna become the Crystal Shard, and then I'm gonna be able to do stuff, and then it will become the Ember Cleave. This is important because Crim only has 1 mana available, so if I ask him to pay 2 mana, he can't do it, and I'll have to bounce his creature.
That will resolve. It's now a Crystal Shard. It's about to turn into an Ember Cleave. Before it does, activate Crystal Shard twice, and I'm going to target the Master of Waves.
All right, Master of Waves back to my hand. I cannot pay for that.
And then Mirage Mirror will turn into an Ember Cleave, so it's an Ember Cleave now.
He did what now? Ugh. Well, on the brighter side, my elementals aren't dead because I named elementals my icon of ancestry.
Then I'm gonna tap 14 mana.
What the heck?
With 7 of it, I'm gonna play World Breaker. When I cast that, I will exile the Icon of Ancestry.
All right.
Okay then.
My elementals are now 0 toughness, so they're all dead.
Oof.
Well, all my elementals are gone. I will no longer have an army to block this massive Eldrazi. Yeah, I'm dead. Okay, no, I'm definitely dead.
This went about as perfectly as it could have. Because Crim finally launched himself into a threatening position, Josh has to focus his resources on making sure he can take him out to save his own life. I might have a chance.
I have a Great Henge trigger, a Zendikar Resurgence trigger, a Guardian Project trigger. I'll draw 3, and the World Breaker is gonna gain a +1/+1 counter.
Okay. Seems good.
And then I still have 7 floating, so I'm going to cast the Avenger of Zendikar.
Oh gosh.
I'm gonna get 15 plant tokens. And because a Great Henge, Avenger's actually a 6/6. And I'm gonna draw 3 cards again because of Guardian Project and all the rest of them.
Yep.
And here it is, the coup de grace. I have fetch lands, I can crack those, make the plants huge. There's no way Jimmy's living through next turn.
Okay, so I'm gonna tap the Great Henge, going to 16, add 2 blue, going to attach my Ember Cleave to the World Breaker. Then I'm gonna go to combat, and Xenagos is gonna trigger, targeting World Breaker. I will swing that at Crim, and then the Gear Hulk and the Xenagos at Jimmy.
So I can only block, like even if I block everything?
I think the tramp will get you.
Yeah, that's enough. All right. Ah, my wizards.
And then I get Ember Cleave to death. Blech.
Okay, so I have no blocks, so I'm gonna take 11.
Yep.
Okay. So I'll go to 24.
So I'm feeling great. I still have that Plasm Capture. I can actually cast it again because of the Torrential Gear Hulk and the Crystal Shard, so I'm not worried really.
Then I'm gonna play a Field of the Dead. That will trigger landfall on Avenger for Zendikar. So all my plant tokens are +1/+1. And I'll make a 2/2 zombie.
Yeah, you got it.
And that's it. I'll go to clean up and I will discard a bunch of cards because I'm way over. And I'll pass the turn.
This couldn't have gone better for me. Crim took all of Josh's attention at the exact right time. He didn't even look at my board state. This gives me the smallest window of opportunity to hopefully do exactly what I need to do to end the game.
Okay, I will untap and I'll draw for turn.
Yep.
How many cards do you have in your deck, Josh?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
14.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
14. What's the biggest creature on your board?
Biggest creature on my board is a 6/8.
Try this for now, see what happens. Okay, I'm gonna tap 4 and I will improvise out Perforos, Scott of the Forge.
This is a scary card and my life total is low, but Jimmy doesn't have any other cards in his hand. But because he doesn't have any other cards in his hand, I don't see any reason why I shouldn't just counter this. So I guess that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay, in response, I'm gonna play Plasm Capture.
The dreaded.
Finally.
All right.
Here's the thing, the Perforos doesn't matter. Josh's counterspell doesn't even matter. I just want to make sure he uses as much mana as possible in case he has something in his hand that I just don't know about. Otherwise, I think I got this.
Is the coast clear? That's what Jimmy needs to know, right? Is the coast truly clear or not? Okay, so I guess the first thing I would do is float a blue with Seed of the Synod.
Yep.
And then I will tap a red and the Goblin Engineer. And I will sacrifice the artifact land of Seed of the Synod and get myself a Mirage Mirror back into play.
Mirage Mirror. Okay. You can't have 2 Ember Cleaves because they're legendary, so not sure what's going on.
The next thing I'm going to do is -2 Saheeli to turn my Great Furnace into a Mirage Mirror.
Okay, second Mirage Mirror. What could he target with that? I'm looking around my board.
I will then tap 2 mana and make this Mirage Mirror into your Xenagos.
Okay, with the Ember Cleave, that's a little bit scary, but doing the math, I think I got enough to block with. I don't think he's gonna be able to get through and kill me.
I will then tap the Is It Boiler Works to turn this Mirage Mirror into an Altar of Dementia.
And there it is. Josh doesn't have many cards left in his deck, and the moment that I get an Altar of Dementia on my side of the battlefield, I can mill him out, and he's dead.
Wait, what? Altar of Dementia? Oh no.
I will draw a card, and I'll draw another card. So I'll draw 2, I'll draw 3, draw 5 cards.
Oh no.
Mill myself for 3, mill myself for 7, mill 6, mill myself for 8.
Oh no.
How many cards are in your deck, Josh? How many cards are in your deck? How many cards are in your deck, Josh? How many cards you got left?
Oh no.
I think I need to stop milling myself.
No way you're dying to milling, Josh.
No way you're dying to milling, Josh. No way you're dying to milling. No way you're dying to milling.
Oh no.
Hold on. The altar copy is on this deck.
Okay.
And I'm gonna just take a look to see if there's anything.
I got lots of cards in my hand. I got cards in my graveyard. I'm trying to figure out, is there anything I can do here? I thought he was gonna make a big creature and put Embercleave on it and then swing at me. I have an answer for that.
I mean, the only things I can do is mill stuff, turn into stuff. I can't put anything back on top of my deck.
No. Can Jimmy get there? Can he actually do this?
Josh is in the tank here because he clearly has some type of answer, but I still have enough mana on the board to activate my Castle Embereth. So even if Josh removes one of my creatures, I'll still have enough power to mill him and take him out.
I have like no cards left in my library. I've been drawing cards willy-nilly the whole game. I was milling myself. Am I gonna lose this?
So I see no way out of this. Uh-oh. Yes, it resolves. You have an altar.
I have an Altar and I have a Xenagos.
Right.
Is Jimmy gonna do it? Is Jimmy gonna get the win here? Jimmy can now mill out Josh.
I'll go to combat.
Yep.
And Xenagos is gonna target Dalakos, Crafter of Wonders.
Yeah, I guess that thing gets power doubled.
And then I will first sacrifice the Xenagos to my Altar of Dementia. And
So I'm
mill you
gonna mill
for
6.
6.
Okay.
And then I'm going to sacrifice the 6 power Dalakos to mill you for 6.
Okay. 6 cards.
Do you have Kozilek in here?
Nope. There's no Eldrazi or anything that shuffles my library.
And then I will mill you for another 1/2 with the Metalworker and Thopter.
Okay, those are my last 2 cards.
And that's it. Pass turn.
Okay, it's gonna go to his turn. Josh has 0 cards in his library. At the beginning of his draw step, he will die to decking.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I don't have a way to answer this. This is a great sequence of plays. He's got me.
You got me, Jimmy.
Are you serious?
You got me.
There's no way. There's no way.
Good game. Wow.
I just want my tombstone to say he died the way he would have wanted, drawing cards.
And then magically, out of nowhere, somehow, some way, I win the game.
Wow, what an incredible game. I mean, I thought I had that thing in the bag.
I was ready to just concede, literally concede, because I was like, there's no point. We have a 0.01% chance of winning. But sometimes your deck contains a way to win that it's not actually designed to do, and there's something so cool about that, and that's just the heart of what Magic is.
Let this be a lesson to everybody out there who plays Magic in any form. Keep fighting. You can throw that Hail Mary in. sometimes it pays off.
I'm really excited to return back to Theros because I mean the set has great flavor, the art's gorgeous, like everything visually is just beautiful.
I love Theros. Not only does it bring a lot of really fun mechanics back, but the aesthetic might be one of my favorites. A lot of really cool, new, exciting cosplays to think of maybe. I'm excited.
This was awesome. I was really happy I got to be on game nights. This is my first time here. My first showing could have got a little better. I could have done a few more things, but I was just honored to be here. And you know what? Next time. The sequel's always better, right?
What? That's not how that goes.